Hello, I'm Brigantia of the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome to the daily forecast for Wednesday, August 7th, 2024. It is the day of the teacher sage. It is also Odin's day, Mercury's day, the 17th of Leo, the 3rd of Hazel, the 17th of Salmon, the 12th of Haymir, which is the haymaking month. So it's my birthday. It is. And, just making mention of it just because I think it's fun to just make a little bit of a fuss every now and then, and also to use the opportunity to talk about having a witchy birthday, as well as to explore the exciting possibilities of witchy birthday cakes. I found this beauty on Pinterest. It is lovely. I love everything about it. It made me want to go into the kitchen in order to attempt something similar, but it is 1,000,000 degrees, and so I am not turning on that oven, not even to selfishly indulge in a little birthday joy. But certainly, it is something. The skill. It has that witchy vibe. It makes me very happy. It looks like it should be served, in the backyard of some stone cottage in the middle of a forest, and just it gives me all the happy vibes. So that's my inspiration cake. There may be something of that sort next year. It gives me a lot of motivation to practice. We'll see what I can do. But this makes 43 solar returns for me. Yeah, and honestly, I really had a lot of psychological trouble when I turned 40. I did not enjoy that experience. It was not for me. Wasn't as bad as what I thought it was going to be, but still did not enjoy it. But now that I'm 43, it doesn't bother me. I am beginning to feel so psychologically free, and I feel free from the burdens that are incidental to youth. Their concerns are no longer the concerns of my life. I'm occupying a different role. I have a different function in life, in society, and even in my marriage. I feel free. I really feel free and enjoying every minute of that. So, for those of you who might be creeping up on my age, there's every possibility that once you get used to the idea, not only is it not going to be so bad, you might actually enjoy this stage. But let's talk about witchy birthday activity ideas. Divination, doing some analysis on your astrology natal chart, making a list of mistakes of the past year and then burning that list, doing gratitude meditations, maybe a little bit of candle magic for birthday wishes. I'm going to be doing some of these things today. I'm going to make it a fun day. Also, this is a good opportunity to cleanse energy because when I started thinking about this and looking at what solar return means and all this and that, it really talks about how this is an individual's personal new year, that their personal year begins on the day of their birth, and that's their kind of their personal cycle within the larger cycles that go on around us. So that's the frame of mind that I'm going into it with my own birthday today. I want to cleanse. I want to start off fresh. I want to think about what comes next and what I can really make of all of that. So that includes setting goals for my personal new year because that's how I'm going to treat it. And then later on today, I'm going to be enjoying a lovely dinner with husband unit. He always cooks me something yummy on my birthday, and I'm looking forward to whatever he decides on doing this year. Now, back to the ordinary business at hand, our astrology for the day. The sun is in Leo, fixed fire, which represents achievement. The moon is first quarter Virgo, mutable earth, which represents details. Mercury is retrograding in Virgo, mutable earth, which represents deep reflection. Venus is in Virgo, mutable earth, which represents perfectionism. Mars is in Gemini, mutable air, which is to be pugnacious. Jupiter is in Gemini, mutable air, which is all about questing. Saturn is retrograding in Pisces, mutable water, which means we need to redefine our dreams. Uranus is in Taurus, fixed earth, which represents renovation. Neptune is retrograding in Pisces, mutable water, which represents spiritual awakenings. And Pluto is retrograding in Aquarius, fixed air, meaning we were doing so well and we had a video glitch. Anyway, Pluto, retrograde Aquarius, fixed air, examine intentions. Now for retrogrades. For Mercury retrograde, it's about reevaluating those communication patterns. For Saturn retrograde, it's about reclaiming your authority. The Neptune retrograde is reclaiming faith, joy, magic, imagination. For Pluto retrograde, it's reclaiming your ability to regenerate. And for Chiron retrograde, it's about restoring the heroic spirit. For the moon phase, we continue to be in the waxing crescent, so that means our keyword is brainstorming. For the Virgo moon, the do's are focus, organize, edit. The don'ts are job interviews, critical people, perfectionism. Now, on this day of Mercury, has Mercury retrograde drawn you into a deeper level of contemplation? Don't be surprised if that does prove to be the case, and if all manner of memories and aspects of your past are brought to the forefront of your mind, possibly the forefront of your doorstep, depending on how things go. Can't fight it, so all we can do is harness the energy of the Virgo moon to help ourselves sort through any kind of conflicting feelings. If you start viewing these retrogrades as just kind of like cleaning out a closet, and deciding what gets to go back into the closet and what gets thrown away, what gets donated, what's moved someplace else. That might help us, kind of maintain our equilibrium and remember the function of these retrogrades and how they don't have to be this dreadful bad thing. We can use it productively in an uplifting fashion. We just have to choose to. Our tarot for today is the Ten of Cups. 10 represents abundance or excess, depending upon the tenor of the card. And then the Suit of Cups is the emotional feminine, receptive energy, the water element, and the heart. And the keywords for this card are happy family, peaceful home, strong relationships, harmony, serenity, forgiveness, family bonds, and joy. The point is that human beings find meaning in each other. And this very much suits my Leo birthday because Leos are very much about the pack. I mean, yes, you are very much an individual within the pack. You should have the full rights as an individual, but you also shouldn't forget that you are part of something bigger. And finding those connections is very satisfying. It can restore our humanity, especially if we have found ourselves, getting just kind of having that beaten out of us. We don't have to allow that to just be the case. We can go in the opposite direction. It just requires conscious intention. So I thought, this is a pretty favorable card for my birthday. It's very nice. Anyway, moving on. Today's Celtic Triad, it reads 3 reasons for keeping silent. Against saying the thing one ought not. Against speaking in a way one ought not. Against speaking in the place one ought not. So speaking out of turn, not all information is suitable for public consumption, whether it is TMI or if it's just unnecessary harshness, throwing things in people's faces when it isn't really called for. That would be saying the thing one ought not. And then speaking in a way one ought not, that's speaking rudely. The way a message is delivered matters, even if that does inconvenience the Aries amongst us. Now, I'm singling out and picking on the Aries just because in recent months there have been many people of the Aries persuasion that have been of like, I'm going to say what I say, and if people don't get it, that's their problem, and they should just learn how to take it and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Look, not everyone has the same kind of temperament. Not everyone is going to be able to get past the insult and the rudeness, which honestly, let's be real, a lot of this is just an excuse for rudeness and not bothering to behave ourselves. But a lot of people they're just going to see the rudeness. They're not going to see anything behind it, let alone the motivation for why it was said so bluntly. So if you actually want a message to get through, then I'm sorry, you're going to have to mind your P's and Q's so that it becomes about the message and not about the delivery. I mean, yes, people have a responsibility to seek out truth and be willing to accept truth when it comes to us. However, the other side of the equation, that counterbalance on the scales, is not delivering it in a stupid or ineffective way. So there's that. And then finally, we have speaking in the place that one ought not, which is speaking in the improper venue, and I came up with this example. If you are trying to contest your electric bill by yelling at the local florist, you're not going to get anywhere. It will not solve the problem. You will make an enemy, and your situation will be exactly the same. Directing our energy properly matters, particularly if it's an issue of the redressing of justice or something that needs to get taken care of. If you're not, talking to the people or the group of people that have the power over the thing, you are just wasting your energy. It's wasting everyone's time. So I think there's a lot for us to meditate on with this particular triad. Now, for today's magical correspondences, they are centered on divination. The color is white, the plant is the daisy, the animal's the salmon, which is specifically regarding understanding divination. So, for those of you who might be new at tarot or new at any other kind of form of divination, learning to connect with the salmon spirit that might actually help jumpstart your own ability to better comprehend and interpret what you're looking at. Then the crystal is the quartz. Looking for insight is usually more useful than attempting to predict the future. Very rarely am I looking at divination with the intention of, okay, well, what is going to come and let's get as specific as possible about it. Because, I understand, as most experienced practitioners do, that what we see in divination is within the realm of possibilities, and the most likely outcome is just the probable outcome. It Very few things are actually fixed. You have to be at a pretty advanced stage of a particular road in order for there to be no exit for you. So there's wiggle room. There really is wiggle room. And if you don't like what you're seeing in a divination, that's your warning sign of, hey, you need to change course here. So I don't really focus on that aspect of it, not too much. That's other people's cup of tea, and they're welcome to lead the charge on that. That's probably what they're called to do. For myself, I really like looking at insight of help me understand the situation. What are the things that I am not seeing? What are some factors I haven't really taken into account? That has been very fruitful for me in the past, and it's just something to bear in mind as you. How do you use the divination in your practice? What's your intention behind that? Something to think about. Now, for today's practice, which deity do you think has been a particularly effective teacher? And as we're talking about teachers, I saw this Minerva McGonagall picture, and I thought, well, she could stand in the place. She could represent that concept for us today. And besides, I loved her character in the movies. I thought she was absolutely delightful. Then we could learn about the Hermetic principle of polarity. If you're studying the Witch's Pyramid, take a look at that east wall. Do some divination today, and then just contemplate, are you at a crossroads in your life? And what does this mean for you? Then our journaling prompt. What aspect of your spirituality would you feel most confident about teaching to someone else? And I'm asking you to put yourself in that role of the teachers, because ultimately that's part of the purpose of life. You teach those who come after you what you know. And this isn't just limited to people who happen to be parents. Especially as, pagans come together more and more in community, the kids, of course, they're going to be learning from their parents, but they're also going to be observing, what are the adults my parents hang around with doing? What are they saying? How are they acting? When we have our rituals and our celebrations, what are the things that they're going on about? Even if you're never really having a direct conversation with them, don't imagine that the kids don't have their ears open. Now, they don't have their ears open when that someone's trying to tell them what to do or to stop doing something. They're not listening then. But when you're not looking and you're off guard, they are listening the most then, and that is forming their own ideas. So even if it's only very much in passing like that, we still eventually all become the teacher to someone else, even if we never know it and never had that intention. So that's just something to think about, and also to get us out of the habit of thinking that, oh, well, there's only certain people among us who are actually going to have to think about that. No, it really does apply to all of us. It's just that some people are more inclined towards doing that as a form of spiritual work as part of their practice. But even those who don't, still applies. And you might contemplate this quote. It's from William Butler Yeats. Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. If we can light the fires of the younger generation of pagans, not only will our spirituality and our crafts continue on into the future, but it will let them have a kind of joy, a zeal almost about it, to where they want to go in that direction, and they're using that fire as a light to see what comes next. And I do think that as much as we're trying to learn from the past, we also need to be very future focused. What comes after us? If we are not thinking about that, then we are not laying the groundwork for a solid pagan future. And that is what I have for you guys today. Have a wonderful Wednesday. If you want to follow me on my social media, I'm at Blackbird's Brew on X, and I have the Blackbird Grimoire on YouTube and Rumble. And of course, you can find me at the Oak and Elder Witchery. Link in the description. It is a gilded community, and it's about pagans just coming together, whether we're assembling our educational resources and having kind of a you know loosely organized digital library reference center, or if we're just kind of coming together to chit chat and talk, like we would if we had our own personal coffee shop. Whatever you would like to do, there's a place for you at that witchery. So if that interests you, be sure to join us. But I think that will do it for today. So again, have a wonderful Wednesday, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.